As far as we know, around 4.5 billion years ago, this rock we live on coalesced from drifting dust. It was forged from the chaotic debris left over from the formation of our newly ignited sun. In those early days, the Earth was a violent, molten ball of magma, constantly bombarded by asteroids. Without airplanes, pizza delivery, or the internet, things moved incredibly slowly across this hostile early Earth. It took hundreds of millions of years just for the crust to cool enough to form solid ground. And from isolated, steaming puddles of water, the very first global oceans slowly began to fill. This process of filling the oceans took anywhere from 400 to 800 million years. To put that in perspective, that's how long it would take for your hair to grow all the way around the Earth. Not just once, but your hair could circle the entire globe twice over in that amount of time. In that same massive stretch of time, simple bacterial life began to spread across the dark, watery globe. Deep near hydrothermal vents, these single-celled organisms thrived in extreme conditions. They slowly terraformed the planet, eventually pumping oxygen into the atmosphere. But higher plants and animals, they took a frustratingly long time to develop and disperse. Evolution seemed stuck in a rut for what scientists literally call the boring billion years. But we're going to skip past those 3 billion years of very slow, microscopic evolution. During that skip time, your hair would have grown all the way from Earth to the moon. Instead, let's fast forward and talk about us, Homo sapiens. When humans finally arrived on the scene, we were much faster than our own hair growth, which, by the way, would have only grown a meager 27 kilometers during the time it took us to migrate. In just 180,000 years, early humans walked out of Africa and crossed into new, unknown lands. We braved freezing tundras, crossed land bridges, and reached almost all the unfrozen continents. In many of these diverse places, we began to settle down and develop highly useful practices. We learned how to harness fire, forge complex tools, and most importantly, we invented agriculture. But because early humans were scattered so far across the globe in isolated pockets, the absolute best ideas and the tastiest regional foods couldn't just be downloaded. They could only gain ground through grueling overland trade or slow human migration. Take wheat, for example, which was first domesticated around 8,500 BC. Early farmers likely grew it to make thick porridge to survive harsh winters, though some historians speculate it might have actually been domesticated just to brew beer. Either way, wheat slowly made its agonizing journey from the Fertile Crescent. It traveled from tribe to tribe, eventually reaching both the Atlantic and the Pacific. That journey took roughly 6,000 years, landing around 2,500 BC. Traveling 6,000 kilometers in 6,000 years might seem like a blistering pace to early humans. But just wait for the Middle Ages, when the pace of life began to truly accelerate. As trade routes like the Silk Road expanded, things started moving faster, both good and bad. The devastating bubonic plague swept across Europe, wiping out a huge portion of the populace. But right on its heels came the invention of the mechanical printing press. Both of these massive global events spread across Europe in less than 100 years. They brought rapid death, but also rapid literacy to the masses. And they did it all before the average person's hair could have even grown 15 meters. Suddenly, books were everywhere, and ideas could travel faster than the humans carrying them. As we entered the 19th and 20th centuries, steam engines and automobiles shattered the speed limit. But it wasn't just transportation that sped up. Culture and trends hit warp speed. The sheer mania for the Beatles raced around the world in just a year or two. A plastic toy like the hula hoop became a global phenomenon almost overnight. Now, in our modern era, even a single year feels like an eternity. With millions of people jet-setting across the globe on commercial flights every single day. Something like a viral outbreak or a new fashion trend can vacation anywhere within a few short weeks. And when it comes to digital information, the speed is almost incomprehensible. The zeros and ones that make up this exact video you are watching right now take, on average, less than 1/10 of a second to beam through cables and satellites to get to your screen. In that tiny fraction of a second, your hair only grows about half a nanometer. That is literally the width of just 2 atoms of hair growth. In short, the sheer pace of travel and connection on Earth has accelerated beyond belief. We went from a molten rock, taking millions of years to form a puddle, to a globalized species sending data across the world in milliseconds. But how do we actually know all of this incredible stuff? How do we know exactly what happened on Earth long before the records of written history? Why do scientists confidently state that the Earth is exactly 4.5 billion years old? That is a massive story for another video, but it proves just how far we've come.